Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing, November the 28th, 2025 gold crypto video update. Here you can see the Bitcoin price has stagnated sideways after a pretty nice bounce that it had that really came up to a head yesterday. Let's do this because there's going to be a lot of updates, I think, coming in the weather department right now. And you had a very nice rally off the 85,000 and change or just below that, which is the 200-day or the 100-day moving average in the weekly time frame. Then we came up about halfway in between the upper resistance that is sitting at $100,000, right where the 50-day moving average is in the daily. And that's where we've been watching since we came down into here. Do we have this return rally and come all the way up to the major upper resistance? Or is this going to get caught and knocked down about where it's at now in the mid ground of this? Currently, we're not sure yet, but that's what we're watching. If this continues up, this 100,000 and change, or the 50-day moving average in the daily time frame that happens to be sitting right on top of the 50-day moving average in the weekly. You can see we did have that golden bearish cross where the 200 is slightly on top of the shorter term moving average, the 100-day right there. And you can see our track does show in one of these where you would have a bounce down in this region and then a bounce back up and then you get rejected. But that's what we're looking at. 100,000 50-day moving average in the weekly time frame is your upper resistance. Your major underneath support is 85,000 because at any point, if we get rejected and break down, as we notice, there's not a lot of volume that's coming in with this uptick, which could be a classic hook nose reversal pattern. 66,178, 68 is your major underneath support, which is your next target, the 200-day moving average. Same thing here with the DGB. You can see we're comfortably underneath now this 0.00838. We're below the three moving averages that have repeatedly over the last 6 to 8 months rejected you. And again, after we had that 110, 115% pump there, you can see as soon as the volume peaked out when we were watching this, you peaked and then the volume came down, the price came down, which is what you would expect, but there has been no return volume back in, and the price has just continued to deflate. And if the next move is down, you're going to come down to this 0.00559 major underneath support, which is near the all-time record low minus that wick that we had about 7 weeks ago when everybody thought that was the bottom of the crypto dump, right? Um, if we look at the AMP, it's the same thing. If we break down from AMP, we're coming down to 0.00137, near an all-time low. And this coin too, we've been getting rejected for the last nearly year now, since December of last year by these overhead daily time frame moving averages. We're below all three critical daily time frame moving averages, which is extremely bearish. We're below a major support and resistance level, which is a resistance level right now at 0.00314. That's your major area you need to break back above. It was a 2-year pattern support, or you're going down to near an all-time record low, sitting down here at 0.00140. I still do believe 2026 into 2027 is going to be a phenomenal year for AMP and DGB. The Ethereum price, you can see from where we were at 2 weeks ago, our target is still eventually down here at 2475. But we showed how you could have a little bit of a bounce back. And option one is where you're at now, where you run up into this bottom part of this green support and resistance zone at 3,052. And then you get rejected in and around where you're at now. And then you end up down here at 2475. Or we could continue after a brief rejection, like this other red line shows, where we get back into this green support and resistance box and try to squiggle your way back up to 3472 over the next couple of weeks. We just had a bearish cross where the 50 got below the 200 in the daily. A golden bearish cross is possible, if not likely, in about 2 weeks if this bear trend continues. And I still think our next major move is down here at 2475. But that's what we're looking at. If you want to try to get a little bit more bullish action out of this, you got to hold this green bottom part of this support, resistance, and support zone, and then hold that, and then trade your way up towards the 3472, the top part of the screen support and resistance box, or you're going to end up down there at the 2475 circled there in green. If we're looking at the XLM price, you can see we bounced beautifully with the wick bottom off the 21 cents or the 200 day in the weekly. We have a severely bearish daily time frame moving averages where you had a golden bearish cross about a week ago, maybe a little bit longer. We're below all three of those. We're below the green support and resistance box and the 50-day moving average in the weekly time frame at 31 cents there in red horizontal. We've had a nice bounce back off of the wick on the 200 day in the weekly. We've come back up to the 100 day in the weekly. And now we're starting to stagnate out with the price action as we've had three rejections now on three separate candles. And it's starting to roll over with price. This whole move has went up with a decreasing volume, which is usually a bearish sentiment, which would look something like this, where you bounce from a support to a resistance and then back down and you break through it, go back to your next support, back to your resistance. And I think this weekend, what may and what is plausible is with a little bit of movement, you roll over, and before you know it, you end up back down here at the 200-day moving average in the weekly time frame. Obviously, if you don't want to do that, you get some buyers to continue here, get back on top of this 100-day moving average, and then trade towards the 50-day in the daily, sitting up there at 28 cents, right? The XRP is the same thing. You can see we bounced off of, we're below these moving averages. We did just have a golden bearish cross where you can see the 100-day is just below the 200-day moving average. Now you can see that just happened the other day. We're below the major $2.55, the 200-day, the 100-day, and the 50-day in the daily time frame moving average. We bounced off the 100-day at $1.84 on a wick, off the 100-day moving average in the weekly time frame. We came up almost to the 50-day moving average in the week. We got rejected just below it. And now, just like XLM, if you want to get bullish, you have to get back on top of this 50-day and then start to reclaim these moving averages over top of it, where the 50 starts at 236 and then the 100 and 200 are up there at about 251, just below that 255. The bearish is the same thing as the XLM. You continue to trade up into this area, get rejected, and before you know it, a big dump and rug pull comes due to falling volume. You got the up and sideways consolidation with the down and falling volume. That's often a bearish signal in the medium term that it's going to roll over on itself and the price action on the uptrend will not sustain itself, right? So that's what we're looking at there across the major coins. The altcoins obviously are continuing to be bearish. If we look at the news, you can see fire breaks out at Greenwich mining facility, uh, which is very a big deal. That's a Bitcoin mining facility. Coinbase Bitcoin Premium turns positive as silver hits record high. That's right, silver hit a record high today. Bitcoin to hit 1.5 million, Kathy Wood says it's only a matter of time. Uh, Anything of note? MicroStrategy's massive BTC holding lifts prospects. What's the path forward? Bitcoin price down 20%, stable coins down 2 billion. November in charts. November was a rocky month for crypto markets. Bitcoin price is down over 20%, shedding almost 2 trillion in market capitalization. Proposed Fed rate cuts, US Federal Reserve, and the potential for an imminent AI bubble burst have brought anxiety to crypto and stock markets. Bearish sentiment prevails after Bitcoin showed a depth cross when the 50-day simple moving average crossed below the 200-day on November 15th, something Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing has been covering extensively. According to data from Trading Economics, global inflation slowed in November among major world economies. 17 members of the G20 experienced lower inflation on the month, part of the growing global trend around the globe. Regulators are grappling with how cryptocurrency should be taxed as adoption continues. Several countries are updating their crypto tax policy. Several countries mull new rules for crypto taxes. Taxman uh, cometh. Crypto adoption is increasing at institutional levels, and new regulators have no choice but to decide how and whether certain types of digital assets can be taxed. In the United States, they will be taxed because everything is taxed once, twice, five, 10 times in the United States. Several different jurisdictions begin to make changes to their crypto tax code in November. In the US, the White House began to review an International Revenue Service proposal to join the global crypto asset reporting framework that would allow US tax services to access American foreign crypto account data. In Spain, the left-wing Summer Party, which is part of the Socialist Party ruling control, proposed raising the top tax for crypto to 47%. This would replace the current 30% savings rate and set a flat 30% tax for corporate holders. Look at that. They charge you 30% over there, I think, to save. That's insane. Switzerland decided to delay because in a socialist economy, they always steal other people's money, and then that's how they pay for things. It's always about taking from the worker and redistributing in a socialist economy. And because socialism is horrible, communism is even worse. Free market, true capitalism is what has sent and brought out more people out of poverty and into freedom than any other type of monetary or government policy in US in world history, right? And that's being skewed by the corporate socialist communist media to brainwash the masses to think socialism, government centralized control, and dictating who gets what, where, and how and when is better than a free market, a true free market, not this crony capitalism we got now, and quasi socialist government in the United States, where they centrally plan a lot of things. But that's what's going on here. Like the channel, subscribe. I've been tracking a major winter storm and another incoming winter storm in the state of Michigan. So we've had nonstop coverage on Facebook. That's why these updates here in the winter during busy times are a little bit farther to come through because we're building a growing business here and it's growing 42% already this month. As you can see, we're sitting at currently 15,000, just under 15,100 followers, right? We're growing massively. That's 40% increase in followers and a 40% growth in the channel just in November. And you can see we've had uh 6 million views now, and that's a channel record over the last 28 days with 500. It won't bring it up, but 500,000, 500,000 views yesterday, and it is making money, almost $1,000. Like the channel, subscribe. Peace and love to my beautiful, glowing, lovely audience. Jay. J.